Probably the hardest part about being a musician is having something that's worth singing about. Most people wouldn't really have anything to say, and that's why you can't write a song until you feel that inside you. Yeah, my parents moved us to Central Florida when I was like 4 or 5, so grew up in a pretty weird Nowheresville, USA. Most people sort of think of Florida as beaches and Disney and sunshine, but there's a lot of flat ground in the middle. So there wasn't too much going on.
I was born in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. It's like southeastern Wisconsin, close to Lake Michigan. And I grew up in a small house in the city with a lot of kids in the neighborhood.
My first guitar was my mom picked it up at a pawn shop, and it was an acoustic guitar, and it was a 12-string. My sister took it to her high school music teacher, and he sawed off the headstock to make it a 6-string that I could play. And piece of junk, but I loved it.
My uncles had this family band that was always kind of a part of my life, and they would cover songs that like have stuck with me my whole life, like Neil Young and CCR. And eventually they asked me to play keyboards in the band, and so it was like my uncles and me and my sister and whoever else could keep a beat. But it was really great.
I met Jacqueline pretty early on. I just moved to Wisconsin. I graduated high school really early. I had just turned 17. They mailed me my diploma the month after I turned 17. And I packed up all of my gear into a car and drove to Wisconsin. Long drive. And the night I arrived was this gigantic blizzard that took everybody out the next day. And that winter I got a job at a restaurant where Jackie was working.
Donovan, he kind of just popped into my life one day. My boss came back from an interview that she was doing, and she came up to me and said, "I just interviewed this young man, and I think you're really gonna like him. He's a musician." And I was like, what do you know? You're like trying to play matchmaker or something.
You know, she was like this beautiful girl that I'd see once or twice a week or whenever, and I'd always try to find out more about her. And then once we got to know each other, I'd ask her about music, and Elliott Smith was like a common denominator there.
We just kind of started talking about music, and we liked a lot of the same things, and I would pick fun at him for liking like the Red Hot Chili Peppers or Pearl Jam and stuff like that.
She came over and laid down like some of the songs she knew, acoustic and vocal tracks, and then after she left, I got out a bunch of drums and guitars and built them into like a band kind of sound. All acoustic instrumentation still, like no distortion or whatever, but then when I gave her back those songs, she almost didn't recognize them, and that's how our band sort of started, was us collaborating on each other's songs or building on top of them. Baby, would it be alright if we slept in the tent tonight? I've been feeling like there's no place to go, no place to go. My body is a lonesome road, better yet a redwood grove. For 30-some years unknown, the garden is overgrown. People tell me, like, Donnie boy, she's tall like you and skinny like you, and she plays guitar like you, but she's not a Jehovah's Witness. And so all of the time that I wanted to spend with her was sort of against the grain, not necessarily like bad or what you would say illegal, but just sort of frowned upon, I suppose.
But he didn't tell me that. So
No, there was no way.
yeah, I didn't really know why.
How do you tell someone I love you and want to be with you, but I can't because of this? Eventually, she emailed me at like 4 or 5 in the morning.
It wasn't just out of nowhere.
Yeah, I mean, we had been seeing each other for a while, or not seeing each other. I don't know. It was a really strange time that we couldn't breach the subject. She emailed me at 4 or 5 in the morning and said, I can't sleep. Maybe I've been thinking about it a lot. I think we should move in together. And then that was that. So I met up with her the next day and said, hey, this is kind of why I'll do this with you, but I'm gonna lose everyone because it won't be okay. And you have to be as serious about this as I'm gonna have to be, because it'll be, costly to my entire life.
That day that we met, I honestly felt like that was the day that we got married, because he kind of just asked me, do you love me? Because I'm going to lose everything, but I love you. And it was kind of like, wow, yes, I do love you. Placing pillows out just right. Feel myself laying on your chest. Don't you worry, baby, it's okay. Worry wakes our spirits anyway. And at night when I lay all alone, I'll picture you next to me, calm and warm. All I need is a place to rest. Blow, here comes my
Things got really heavy, really fast, and then you start looking at, we're gonna run out of money, so we're gonna have to settle down here, and are we gonna be able to get jobs? Can we find a place to live? Are we gonna totally hate our lives? Are we gonna stick this out until we're married? Everything felt like it was collapsing, but at the same time, you're looking at the most amazing time of your life. So we arrived at a place where we were like, well, we have a month of tour dates. Why would we come back to work after that? We quit our jobs and put our apartment into a storage unit so that our expenses were 0. And at that point, you're not making money really as a tiny band, but we didn't have any expenses either, so we weren't really spending money. And we could just take off and travel. That was so much inspiration for the course of 2 years. We'd load up all of our camping gear and just live in our tent as long as we could, and visit this place for a few days, and then camp in this place for a few days, and this place, and then we'd see a friend and shower and do our laundry and visit our friends or family, and then we'd do it for another week or 2 and camp our way to the next spot. Since we started our homeless venture, after we put everything in the storage unit and started moving around, that's kind of when we started writing new songs. Yeah, we always seem to have plenty of material. We're always pushing our lives to the limits in these ways, so we'll write a lot about the places that we're visiting or coming from, all kinds of like geographic locales that are inspiring, or that we sing about the people and places in our lives.
It's different. I think that moving around like that definitely has it puts different textures on the songs, going from like a small crowded room in a farmhouse to like a empty cavernous home. Definitely puts different textures on the sounds and the echo and the natural reverb.
And you used to have more money. And you used to have a home. But baby, these days we're just two birds in one cage. And all that we have is time to roam around. So I don't know what I'm doing here anymore. What am I still singing these songs for? Don't it feel nice? Don't it feel nice? Don't it feel nice to be in love, babe? The people that I look up to, not just musically, but in any form, I will always champion the DIY professionals. So guys like Henry Miller, who had no schooling at all, but has this amazing outlet, and he's, maybe he didn't see it in his time so much, but can acquire a cult following not because you're learned, but just because you're good. Guys like Elliott Smith or Mac DeMarco or Tame Impala, who can just sit down and write a great song and play it on the guitar, and then they come over here and play the song on the drums, and then they come over here and play the song on the keyboards, and then they do all their vocal harmonies, and like they can just build an entire album themselves. So whether it's authors like Henry Miller or Jack Kerouac, who just kind of develop their own style, or musicians, or anyone, no matter what you're doing. Tom Waits said that he was always aiming where no one was looking. And he also said that being a musician is like fishing. You have to be really quiet to catch the big ones.